Why isn't it doing anything? Did you try logging in? I don't see you in the waiting room. Okay, I gotta make you the. Okay.
Morning. Morning, everyone. Morning, Dusty, and congratulations.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Excellent. Thank you, Jim. Yeah. Tied the knot after 15 years. I didn't want to rush into it. Do you have everybody on mute?
Morning, Dusty.
Good morning, Michael. Hi, Mike. Mark, you're muted too. Do you have me as host?
Dusty, I made it in time.
All right, good job, Mayor. Just a few more minutes, just a minute or two here. Still see people coming into the waiting room.
Mayor Heath, what is it, about 10 hours since we last talked?
If that even.
We had an athletics town hall meeting last night.
Ah. All right, it's 8 o'clock and welcome to the Downtown Development Authority's August 12th meeting, and welcome everyone. I may have mentioned it last time, and you hear it in a lot of the public meetings. If for some reason we were Zoom bombed or somebody enters and has inappropriate stuff, we'll shut the meeting down immediately. And at which point you just go back to that link, push it, and we'll all come back into the room together. For the sake of background noise, please have yourself muted, and remember that you're muted when you speak, because sometimes you can't hear us telling you you're muted. And we'll move on from there. We have a big meeting today. We have a lot to cover. I'm pretty excited about a lot of the stuff that's going on, so I would go ahead and get started if that's okay. Is Meredith with us at this point? So Ashley, if you would
Yes,
just,
I'm here. I'm here.
all right,
Dusty.
great. All right, good. And then you'll do roll call. Can you see everybody?
Believe I can. I see. Yep, I think I'm good.
All right, excellent. All right, the next thing is the agenda, and with the approval of the agenda, I want to make one addition that I did not have on there. Today, Harmony Geisel from the Michigan State Extension will present some information on the crime prevention through environmental design, the CPTED, and the work they've been doing, and just give you an update of what's coming here towards the end of August and September, which is some great work they've been doing. So I will put her after everything just before chair comments, as you can see on your screen. And then I'll entertain anybody else that wants to add anything to the agenda. If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
So
Motion
moved.
to approve.
Support.
So is that David and Jerry?
Yeah.
All right.
You?
All right. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those
Aye.
opposed, the same. All right, we'll move forward. You also had in your packets the DDA minutes from our July 8th meeting, and just want to thank Meredith for doing that. Is there anyone that has any corrections, deletions, additions to the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
So moved.
That was Mark.
Yeah.
We have support.
Support.
Support from Jerry. Any further discussion? If none, I'll to accept the minutes, indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same. All right, let the record reflect that the minutes have been accepted into the record. All right, so what you're going to see on your agendas here is I'm starting to move towards a structure of Main Street. So we're really starting to see a definition, and I want to bring something up real quick if I can find it all. I got to do my screen sharing. I had it up a little while ago, but I think I have so many screens going at once.
Dusty, can you hear me?
I can now, yes.
All right, just want to make sure because I'm first up and
All right, gotcha.
might be helpful.
All right, so these were the four major areas, if you can see on your screen: economic vitality, design, organization, and promotion. In the past, we'd really talked about organizational committee, and the responsibilities that they had was that of, to oversee and look over the bylaws, and as well as help and assist in ascertaining new members, interviewing members, our new board members, and the like. And so that's really what it was at that time. The way they define it is a little bit different on organizational. They show that fundraising falls under that, volunteer recruitment, development, public relations, fostering and collaborating between stakeholders, and the development of work plans to guide the organizational work. So we're not going to really move to that today, but I want to start thinking in that fashion and start structuring our committees accordingly. And you'll also see on your committee or on the agenda, let me go back and share it.
Okay, then click
unmute, do unmute. Okay, so you should be on now. Dusty, can you hear me?
I can hear you, can't see you.
Okay, all right.
Now you're here.
All right, I don't know why you can't see me, but I'm here. All right, sorry.
Excellent. Still having two people add on. Here comes Greg. Oh, yeah. All right. So again, when we start visualizing and thinking like Main Street and what the things they're asking us to do, we were already doing a lot of the activities. It's more organizing it and structuring it in committees. You'll see organizational committee, finance committee still there. It always will be. Beautification and branding is going to pick up that design feature that they talk about. Promotion and events committee will be doing the promotion feature. And then economic vitality if you look at what they're speaking about on that, I can move fast, is really the analyzing the current market forces, providing balanced commercial mix, supporting expanding existing businesses, recruiting businesses, and the like. And you can see that's very comprehensive work, and I think that works us towards a Main Street director. If we're really going to be that active in the economic development of downtown is the way they design it. So we're really going to need somebody that's totally focused on that, doing recruiting and the like. And that type of work. So I don't have a lot on the agenda for that, but I think if anybody has any comments on that, I think it's a good step in the right direction. Back to the agenda. So Diane, do you have anything new, or do you and Mark have anything new on the bylaws, or are we just still working on those?
We are still working on it. I mean, we are kind of in a holding pattern because we're waiting for the bylaws that the Main Street group uses before we fashion ours.
Okay.
And you know, it won't take very long probably for us to get it done, but we just have to wait.
All right, sounds good. Excellent. All right, finance report. I'm going to pull up on the screen here if I can do it. I'm trying to get faster at this. I think this is what you just sent me this morning, Brad. Is this the revenue report and expenditure report from the city?
Yes, that's the one. That's through July, I think, actually. We basically haven't really seen any major changes in the past, you know, since all this stuff started. So I don't really have anything to report.
Excellent. So one of the things I failed to mention is in June, I was supposed to have an annual meeting of the DDA, and I missed it. It was my fault. I hadn't even thought about it. Each June, we're supposed to set our slate of officers and our members and review the budget again, which we already passed in February. So at the end of this meeting, we'll have a short meeting. It's the annual meeting, and you'll see that in your packets. But Brad, if I could ask you a question, how much money do we have available that's free cash flow, not our existing balances, but have we moved down 2 years worth of 20,000 net, or what would you say?
So in the budget that we passed on February, we do have a line item that we just called special projects. Basically, it's in the it's on the TIF side of the equation there, and it's basically about $42,000. So our free cash flow moving forward annually is around $42,000.
Any questions for Brad on the financial reports? Brad, thank you for doing that. That's a good position, and we should be able to work a little bit, have some actions that are good from those funds. So I will entertain a motion, if there are no discussion, to accept the financial reports as presented.
So moved.
Mark Murray?
Support.
Support from Dave. David, any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the same.
Aye.
All right, on we go. So Jerry, if you would give a little insight on, you guys had a committee meeting. As you can see, I went ahead and acted on the committees and their responsibilities and the agenda, and just give us a little update on what you guys' thoughts were, especially as it relates to parking. And as you can see, the parking committee has been removed as a committee of itself. So Jerry, I'll hand it over to you.
I would like to just make sure that the chair knows that I am co-chair of this committee, not the chair of this committee. Don't you let Mark Murray get away with his commitment to co-chairing. I believe he and I are the only actual official members of this committee now that Chip is stepping away. So
I think I was been on the committee the whole time, on the parking committee. Am I supposed to be part of this committee or not?
You certainly can be.
yeah, you are. Counting you in, Diane.
Okay.
So we didn't, I don't know that there's really any update on parking specifically. We did meet, had a very good meeting, talked about looking at signage and getting that to the folks at Insignia to help us with that. So the committee will be looking for some examples from other places to follow. We also plan to meet with Chief Emmerich, which we're just waiting to narrow down the date on that prior to the next DDA meeting, just to talk about specific ways we can support what they're doing, whether that would be cameras in the downtown or perhaps signage and other things might be supportive of the efforts to keep the downtown safe. And I think that's also about the environment and the welcoming factor for guests in the downtown. There was a question about the trees and where we are with that plan, and I'm not sure that we know the answer to that. So maybe someone on the committee, or I don't know if Greg was able to track down that plan or knows what the timeline is for the tree replacement.
I have an update on that in just a bit. When we get down through Mark Murray, I'll explain where we're at with the trees.
Great. Adrian for the Seasons does continue to meet. We have another meeting tomorrow, working on a 5-year plan so that we can, look forward to seeking support and funding through the city commission on a long-term basis, figuring out how we want the downtown to look at each season. So all that's happening. The other thing is that Chip Moore did let the committee know he'll be resigning. I don't know if that's the place for this conversation or if this is the place for that, but he did let us know that he will continue on this committee for the foreseeable future.
Well, we'll bring that up towards the end so that, of course, we'll thank him for all the years of work. So we do that towards the end of the meeting then, if that's all right.
Was there anything else, Mark or Diane?
Nope, not on that part.
Excellent. Thank you, Jerry. Mark, just a little update, charging station and the Comstock Park clock.
Yeah, the charging station update, was in touch with Matt from the city. They're moving ahead. The contract's been let. They expect that the station will be installed momentarily. So we're hoping by next meeting, we'll have that in. And it's located behind the old Hammerman's building by where the dumpsters are located. The other item is the centennial clock that the Adrian Noon Rotary Club has proposed to the city. They had a meeting, walked the city downtown area, and agreed on a location in Comstock Park, right at the intersection of College Avenue and Maumee Street. And for the benefit of communication and cooperation, we'd like to have a motion from the DDA to approve the location and the installation of that. Not that it's necessary, but just that it would be a good thing for us to do, working closely with the city.
I'll make a motion.
There's been a motion by Chip. Can I get support?
Support.
Support from David. Any further discussion or questions? Mark, good work on that. All those in favor of the location and it being put in Comstock Park indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the same. Awesome. Awesome. So now we'll move on to the trees. See if I can find my stuff that I have so many screens up here. If it last time we were working on this, Casey Nochi was part of the DDA, and we were digging in, and we all agreed as DDA that we want to become the Maple City. There were a number of maple trees that we looked through, and we're starting to show Jason Lawrence, who had been working with us on that right before COVID hit, and then there was some interference that took place that sort of stopped some of that work. And then the budget sort of got, gray at the city level. And there was cutbacks that were happening in different areas. So it made it a little bit uncertain as to whether we should start cutting down trees and getting going without a real design plan from an arborist, which is what Jason is. If you remember, there are 38 Bradford pears downtown. 24 of them are on Main and between Main and Front, and then 14 are on Maumee between Broad and Winter. There are 19 crab apples, 4 on Maumee and 15 on Main, and we have a bunch of open boxes, 19 of them to be exact. And so right now, Jason is working on design and getting some finalized details. So I'm going to move to the next item to show you how they interrelate. And if I've got this picture, I need to show this to everyone, because this is very exciting. Our city commission did an awesome thing. Bear with me while I put something up. Stop that for a second. Share, and this is very exciting. This is a look at now this is with all the bells and whistles, but they have agreed to put in new LED lights, lamppost lights, all the way down Maumee and all the way down Main Street inside the major quadrants. There is design work being done as to where they'll be. There'll be about every other light will be replaced. They have to, according to the contract with JCI, they're going to finish this within 16 months, which is great. Starting here in August. I think Greg told me that. Or I think that's right, Greg, correct? I don't know if he's on the line still.
All right, I had to unmute there. Yeah, we expect to close the 20th of this month, so their outside date will be 16 months from then.
Awesome. So at the entryways, if I'm not mistaken, into the downtown, that you may see these digital signs on those particular lights, but it won't be digital signs all the way throughout the city. It may be right at the front end of where you enter in, and then they'll be scaled down a bit. As you can see, they have speakers in them. They have the lights are supposed. They've seen some illustrations, I think the commission did, showing how the light differential is amazing compared to the type of lights we have today. Can you imagine the music through the speakers? And for that matter, when we have events, you can't hear somebody that's down the street on the far corner, but if we had somebody speaking, they could speak throughout the entire speaker system. That'd be very awesome, I think. But I wanted to show you this today because as we're designing the trees, I think it goes along with the lights. So you want to make sure that the lights are spaced properly and the trees are spaced between those lights properly. So right now, Jason is meeting with Matt. They're talking about the existing, or what that design will look like. And we should have something by maybe next meeting to tell you what that might look like and what kind of trees we'll be using. The other side of that is the pear trees are going to start to come down rather quick. Maybe even before our next meeting, you might see a couple of pear trees or more be taken down so that we can have motion on that. So again, it wasn't really a drop the ball, the COVID thing, and everything was some uncertainty, but I was glad, Gordon, you came to my office and reminded me I had taken off the agenda. And when you take it off the agenda, it may get out of sight, out of mind. I appreciate everybody that contacted and said, what's going on with that tree thing? But I think it's good news on both fronts. So I'll entertain questions on this, or Greg can answer.
I love it. I think it's beautiful.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? I know that we talked about banners and we haven't really moved on that. That was another thing that we talked about. I will make a mention of this right now. I did talk to Kirk Valentine regarding the cables that are holding the lights on the four corners regarding banners and putting banners on those. And he is under the understanding that there's no way those cables could support the wind that would hit a banner. That he only has, grommet put in there into the brick, and he believes that any kind of major force wind like that would pull them out. So it is not engineered to handle such banners. I know I jumped off.
Dusty, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I have a quick question.
Sure.
My dad could never tolerate all the bells and whistles on cars because he was always afraid it was more to break down.
Right.
So as we look at these, and they are absolutely beautiful. I think it's magnificent, the music, the whole thing. But are our people prepared to do the repairs on that and do everything that would be necessary as they go through and we use them? I mean, it's a lot of bells and whistles on a light.
Mr. Chair, Mark, I'd like to, Margaret's maiden name is Murray. We do think alike. I was thinking exactly the same thing, having 40 years in business, fixing stuff. I just, if there's an option to keep it as simple as possible, the whistles and bells are great until they don't work, and then the complaints start rolling in. So when a decision has to be made, if it can be made in terms of who's going to maintain the system for the next 10 years after we purchase it, that ought to be answered at the same time, because we will have trouble with this stuff.
And that the company will back it up. If the company backs it up and our people are trained to fix this intricate system, it's dynamite. I don't want to be a naysayer. I think they're beautiful. I think it's a grand idea, and I want to vote for it. But I just want to make sure that we're putting all those aspects in place as well.
Hear, hear.
So that, I'm supporting it.
So Angie or Greg, was there any discussion as to the responsibilities of JCI and the installation and ongoing maintenance?
No, not specifically as it relates to the contract. We spec'd what we wanted. I mean, I think as construction proceeds, we'll be able to decide where we want them, which poles we want to have which features on. I'm certain there's going to need to be specialized technicians for some of this. Our people aren't going to know how to do it all. So it's just going to be a matter of budgeting the appropriate amount for maintenance.
Warranty has become a dirty word nowadays, and so we just they're worthless. They're like waiver. They don't mean anything anymore.
Well, I think the idea too, correct me if I'm wrong, is that a simplified version, if you just remove that banner and maybe some, you don't know if you have to, the facade light's not going to be all that technological, but I do like to push blue emergency light for people, a safety idea there. I think that's beautiful.
I like all.
But I don't know if you'd have a speaker in every one of them to try to get the music, to be fully heard throughout the downtown. So those are, but like I say, it's app-based wireless control. That one might be a little technological. So.
I mean, they can make a little teddy bear sing music, so it ought to be okay. I just like to check,
So, Greg, is it worth, or say even Angie, should we vote on this to show our support and send that to the commission before the closing date, or is it already going to be closed?
It's going to be closed either way, so. You're welcome to vote on it, but it's in the contract.
Move to support. I'd like to have a motion to support.
I have one more question.
Sure, David.
Some of the lights downtown did have a power supply as well. Like on the four corners, they have 30 amp power, which we use for our delicious and things of that nature. Is there going to be power supported in some of those lights so we can still host events and stuff like that downtown?
Good question.
Looking at the cut sheet here, I don't specifically see that, but I'd be shocked if that wasn't available in some of them.
The Adrian
I know on the
Maintenance Committee would really agree with Dave on that if every light could have power, it would help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll speak to JCI about what the spec includes in that regard.
Yeah, I would agree with them both. From all the way back to the Maple City Fest, when I had to go hit the breakers every hour and a half, and all the boxes that we have in the downtown, it was definitely an upgrade that we needed in the downtown. So if there isn't, we'd sure like to make sure there is, if that's the case.
Yep.
All right, excellent.
Can that be added to Mark's motion?
Yep. So Mark made a motion to support this idea and the idea of having electricity available at the proper levels throughout the downtown.
Support.
Support by David. All right. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the same. All right, Greg, thank you. And thank you, Angie, and thank the commission. This is a beautiful development. I think we're going to really enjoy it. I know they can hear our concerns, so I think that's good too. And we voted to support their judgment on this. So excellent. So trees, street lamps are ready to go. Diane, I know you wanted to bring up something regarding drinking fountains or a water station or something of that nature, just to bring it up today, just to get a discussion going. So I'll let you.
Yeah, I just want to put it back on our agenda for the future to finish the discussion. We originally had talked about doing a drinking fountain where you could fill your water bottles and dogs could get a drink as well as a regular drinking fountain. We've looked at several models of it, and we're going to wait to make a recommendation until we're going to talk to the city, because they're in the process of purchasing a drinking fountain like this for the dog park, according to yesterday's news. And so why not try to save some money by doing it that way if we can? So I just want you to know it's very important that we get one of these downtown, and I'm going to keep pushing forward on it as hard as I can.
All right. Any questions, discussions? We looked at the different ones. We pulled it up from the vendor that the city uses, and we already have one that Kiwanis had put in over at the Ben Oak Crossing, and so we looked at that. If they're going to do it in dog park, we can at least bring the idea here and show the design, but they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool things. You know, when you think of today in COVID and you think of a normal old-fashioned drinking fountain, that's not what this is. So when we have more detail, or when she has more detail, we'll bring it back and be on the agenda.
Dusty?
Yes.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
When you did the project on Bento Crossing, do you remember how much that fountain cost?
It ranged between $2,500 probably and $3,500 depending on the version. And that's when you look on the website, they're showing you retail prices. But when you buy as a city, if you buy, I think you get a little bit better deal. But that's about the range I could see. I mean, you could go up to 5,000, but you don't.
Okay.
Need, so
We don't need all the bells and whistles.
I got
Doesn't need to sing to us.
it.
So, progressive idea, I think. It's nice. Okay. We'll move on to promotion and events committee. Promotion, Dave Thomas, take it away. I've got stuff to show, I think. Here we go.
Okay. All right. Well, a lot has happened since our last meeting. I will try to go as quickly as possible through this. On August 3rd, thanks to our city commission, our mayor, Greg Elliott, all the city staff, Michelle and Tamaris, established a social district on August 3rd. I turned in all the permits for all of our downtown businesses on August 5th. There were 11 total applications. Even as of yesterday, I spoke with Michelle Dewey, and she said the state has approved our district already pending inspection. So that's really, really fantastic news. I'm really excited about that. I did not speak with the inspector, but I called him yesterday and left him a voicemail in regards to expectations of the inspection when they come. In regards to sign placement, if we have to have so many per feet or so many per block, etc. So I'm hoping to hear back from him in the next few days in regards to that. I did speak to all the downtown businesses, restaurants, bars, in regards to trying to figure out trash receptacles and the management plan with that. What I spoke to them about was if we all get uniform trash cans, that we would, it'd be their responsibility to maintain them if they were next to their doors or right next to their business. And all of them pretty much agreed that was not a problem if we can find something uniform. Also informed all the restaurants and bars about purchasing their own stickers that have to be placed on the cups as well. And they were all in agreement that that was not an issue for them to manage. So we do need to discuss the logo. Dusty's got some pictures up there. We do need to get approval on this today so we can turn it over to the city and they can have it on their next meeting on August 17th. Any questions on the logos that Dusty has available?
Let me make mention, Emily sent me the name of Haley Rising, and she did some great work. I went ahead and stuck my neck out and said that to move forward on some logo development design because of the speed at which David is moving. By the way, David is working his butt off. He's talking to 11 businesses, getting them all their applications, pushing, being on at the commission, making sure they all understand that he has moved at lightning speed to get this forward. So I have to commend you, David. It's just amazing work, amazing work. We went back and forth with Haley a little bit, just trying to get a design. We saw designs out of Toledo. We saw designs out of different cities, and we're moving fast. David actually checked with the state to see if we could use a different logo than Dora, which was downtown outside refreshment area. And we asked them if we could use downtown Adrian refreshment area, and they said yes, no problem. So one of the things that I try to keep in the picture is that there is some pride inside City Hall and the sign makers. And they do want to have some of that maple leaf type repetitive look, if you will. And so we tried to design some maple leaf. We have one in here that doesn't have it in there, but David and I were excited about either number 1 or number 2 or number 1. I think I would like to hear everybody's opinion, what they think of this.
I like number 1 and number 2 as well. I mean, number 1 is nice and clean and simple, but I love the way the leaves filling up in 2. I like both of those.
Either 1 or 2.
I go for number 1. You just want to vote?
Yeah, we should just vote. I don't know if we can just do it individual votes. I'm going to have to read off everybody's name if we just want to do that. Here's the other thing I want to say. If Haley was here, she would have said this too. We can use these interchangeably. Right. So she said, you know, I will use number 1 as a major part, but if you want to put number 2 in a few areas, that's fine too. But you know, it's not just the signs, but the stickers and the promotion items and everything, right. The cups. So we could use them differently. But I think 1 and 2 is probably, is anybody, let me put it this way to make it easy, is anybody against number 1 and 2 and would prefer 3 and 4 or a 3 or a 4? All right.
I'll just say one thing. I think that there are some events that number 3 and 4 would be appropriate. You know, I see some of the college events that might make sense. Probably get shot in the some of those, but gee whiz, yeah, you know. Anyhow, I would say that they look nice too, but 1 or 2 for the events make sense. Just saying, okay?
Just speaking for the colleges at Siena Heights University, I think keeping it classy with number 2, that's where I would put my.
Okay. All right. And I do support Michael Orlando 100%. Okay.
Thank you for that support.
Rewind. Okay.
Chair, is it appropriate for a motion that just puts this back in the hands of the committee that's been working on it, that the DDA supports moving forward with any of these logos at the committees?
Okay, yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah. I appreciate that. Haley's proposal to me is she puts about 10 hours of work in on this, going back and forth with us. I committed to $500 for her. If you like her work and what she's been doing, and she's young and energetic and great, she did Lenawee Now's logo, I believe. Is that right, Emily? I think it was. We are wanting to move, you'll see later here in a second, we want to move and go right into the development of a new DDA logo and new branding, which Emily will cover in a moment. But I just want to tie the two together, that Haley did some great work for us. I stuck my neck out. I'm fine to pay the bill too, but I wanted to say that, Jerry, from that standpoint. I'm willing to make that commitment because I wanted to get this going so quickly. We want to do it before the meeting.
Yeah, I just was trying to expedite the decision, you know, that we don't have to go through each one.
Right.
It sounds like there's no hesitation on the part of the DDA to support these and just move forward and present all of them to the city commission. I don't know.
Mr. Chair, do you look for a motion to approve a $500 expenditure?
David, you were going to talk about that a little bit? Because
Yeah.
I don't want
So I would like to propose in regards to the cups, I'll make two separate motions here. Number one, that the DDA moves forward with logos 1 and 2 in our branding effort to stay consistent, and send that to City Commission. And also I would like to make a motion for $1,000 for the design work of the DAR logos and for the design work moving forward for our DDA Main Street logo as well.
So moved is one motion.
a motion for $1,000 to develop these logos as well as our new DDA logo and branding. Can I get support?
I think Dave made the motion and that would make Mark support, correct?
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Yep.
So we have a motion and support. Is there any further discussion? Again, great work, David. Thank you. And thank you all. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the
Aye.
same. And the motion carries, and we'll move forward as soon as I can find the agenda again.
Back to the
I
bricks.
got one more quick thing.
Sure.
I just want to finish up on the cups.
Okay.
My research on the cups, we can do one of two things. We already made the motion and approved it at the last meeting. For 20,000 cups, 12-ounce cups with the logo comes to $3,000. Or if we do 20,000 16-ounce cups, it's $3,200. So you're looking at 15 cents or 16 cents a cup. And that would come to 20,000 or 20 cases of cups, which could be stored in my storage facility or Steve at Grasshoppers volunteered to handle the storage of those cups. So we would use the logos that we just approved for those cups. And I can get those ordered pretty much immediately if that's okay with the board.
I would really strongly suggest the 12-ounce cup, since you have to finish the beverage before you go into the next location. Seems like we're small enough of a downtown that to walk from the Croswell to Chalmers and drink a 16-ounce cup is kind of a lot.
And I have a question too, David. Didn't when we were discussing it, didn't we talk about the bars having their own sticker to put on the cups to identify that that's where the cup came from? That the restaurants were supposed to arrange for that themselves. So do we really have to have printed cups?
Yes, we do, because it does have to have the Dara logo on it. And then they have to produce their own stickers to put on the cup.
Dave, I have a question for you. If you went with the 16-ounce cups and then encourage the bars to fill it 3/4 or 2/3 of the way up so that they could take the drink out and move around with it. The problem we notice at the Armory is when the bartenders fill it to the top, we get a lot of spills and stuff. I think it'd be much more practical if we got a larger cup and then filled it not all the way to the top.
Can you print a fill line on the cup?
Jeez.
So just for the purpose of the cups, just making sure we take another look at this, is not to fill the cup up before they leave. It's like if you're done with dinner and you haven't finished your cocktail, but you'd like to go to a different establishment, is where you pour the rest of your drink into the cup. So it's not about filling the cup and leaving, it's about taking what you have left with you. So it doesn't matter to me if we do a 12 or a 16-ounce cup. I think it's just, I would prefer the 16-ounce cup just for the purpose if somebody decides to take a 12-ounce can of Miller Lite and pour it into the cup before they walk down the street. So it's up to you of what size cups we go with. I mean, but I'm in favor of the 16.
I would think that 16-inch cups would be good too, from the standpoint as a COVID-19 environment. Restaurants are trying to sell drinks to go, and also during the Christmas parade, if you the Comstock Park during the Christmas, that might be good to walk around that area during that time frame for special events that do happen in downtown Adrian.
So, we get caught in these types of things that can tie us up a little bit. I understand all the points of view on that. I think just to move forward, I know we always think somebody's going to abuse the situation, or 16 ounce looks like you probably have too much. But I think it leaves for the most flexibility of when somebody has a beer versus a cocktail versus a glass of wine. It gives that chance to have anything in there. They give you the biggest flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
So let's give David some direction. All those in favor of the 16-ounce cup indicate by saying aye.
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 All those in favor of the 12-ounce cup indicate by saying aye. David, you got direction on that. All right.
Thank you.
Was that anything official
So
I need to
moving forward,
record, or was that just, I'm sorry, was that just an informal poll, or do I need to record it?
I think, Meredith, that's an informal poll. I think you're fine. Yeah.
Okay. So thanks again, everybody. I just want to thank the city as well for all the work they have done. Our goal is to turn this over to the city now and get it turned into the state. Our real objective goal is to have this by first Friday, September 4th, and be able to do, I would like to do some sort of presentation or even type of ribbon cutting for the Dara district as we move forward. So if, Greg or Michelle, if you need anything from me, I'd be more than happy to help with whatever. So thanks again.
So no pressure on the sign people in the city hall to get these things done.
One more step to picking the logo, which is next Monday, and then we can start painting signs, I guess.
Okay, gotcha. All right, Dave, thank you again. Onward to your next item, back to the bricks.
Okay, all right. So Chris Miller approached me last week. I met with him in regards to Back to the Bricks. He obviously we had this event back in 2018, I believe. Is everybody familiar with Back to the Bricks?
I am.
I am not.
Okay, so obviously, okay, so Back to the Bricks is pretty much a traveling car show. They came back here back in 2018 or so. They had over 300 classic cars, and they would like for us to become a host city again in June of 2021. And it entails quite a bit of work with the city and the DDA and Visit Lunaway. And Chris brought this to my attention and wanted to know if it was something that the DDA would take ownership of in regards to Main Street programming moving forward. I told him that I would bring it to our board and work with the city and discuss with them on how to execute this program. So basically it's 700 people that travel around the state of Michigan to show their vehicles. There is a requirement. We have to actually fill out an application. Thank you. So, but it is something that, do we want to really take ownership of. I told Chris that I'd be happy to take lead on it, but obviously there's a lot of work that we have to do with the city in regards to managing the areas and things of that nature. So there's a list of things. Obviously, they need to designate a local coordinator, schedule the event downtown, making sure they have local hotel capacity. And then obviously the main thing is hold the event in the heart of the city, which is downtown. And then provide sufficient street closure to showcase approximately 350 cars. And obviously encourage participation of local car enthusiasts. And then we have to provide a DJ, secure permits, and then obviously handle all marketing for the event. So,
Is it a one day or?
I mean, that's kind of a general, overview of the event. But I think this is something that Main Street could manage very easily. And I would be more than happy to take the lead on it.
It looks like a week-long project, tune-up week and all this other stuff, right?
It is just primarily,
No.
it's like a one-day event.
Okay,
They come the day before, they stay at a hotel, and then the next day they have the show, and it's usually in the mid-afternoon.
Yeah.
And it could be anywhere from Monday through Friday. We do not have a specific day.
Yeah.
I might have some video, by the way.
No, they just
of that.
do the car. If you look down there, one event, it's a 5-day event, but they go to a different town every single day.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, we certainly can. It's whether we want to, right?
There was a lot of video taken of that when they
spoke to,
rolled into town last time.
I spoke to, yeah, there is.
I have video of it.
So the question is if this is something the DDA wants to take ownership on.
Right.
Mark, you're muted.
Like to propose that we adopt the program per David's recommendation.
There's been a motion. Can I get support?
Support.
There's a motion and support. Further discussion.
Can I just ask, Dave, that when you are starting to make the application process, that you work with the Croswell on proposed dates, please?
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I'm not sure, Jerry, that I'm surprised that you don't remember this because it was huge downtown. And I don't know that we have an option on dates. They have their schedule that it leaves up north. It goes all around the state. This is your day. This is your event.
Yeah, and we'll see that at the time of application. And so we really need to make sure that we're conscious of the Croswell's shows and the street closures and the like. First Fridays does a lot of street closures. There's a number of car shows that we do from our other players, but this one's different, and it'll be on a different day than a First Friday. So we just need to always be conscious of what we're doing. And if that's sitting on a Friday night with one of the main events at the Croswell, it could be problematic.
Yeah, we just need to be thinking, and not that it couldn't coincide, but
Well, it doesn't sound like it has to be a Friday, and that might be what the beauty of it is we might be able to use one of our other days of the week, and it might be an additional feature for our community that isn't taking up a weekend, but might be a Thursday or another event day.
Dave could pull the plug on this if it didn't work out or if it was a problem with the Croswell. So I think this just gives Dave permission to move ahead to the next level.
Excellent. Any further discussion?
Jerry, just so you know, the dates are anywhere from June 11th to June 16th of 2021. That is the week they're planning.
thank you.
It was a huge sales time retail wise when they came through the last time. was huge.
I think it was, maybe it happened on a Wednesday or Thursday.
I think it did too, Jerry.
Excellent. Any further discussion? There's been a motion and support. All those in favor of letting Dave run with this indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the same. Again, I cannot thank David enough. He's hustling. He is hustling and found another good idea here, and appreciate your hard work, David.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Now we're going to turn to Lean On Emily. Rebar. No, that's what I would call it. So first I'd like to show you guys something that's developed. And let me make sure I have it on my screen before I start it. Oh, there we go. Oh, no sound. Hang on. Stop. Stop. All right, I got to take that back to the beginning. Why do I not have sound?
Dusty, you have to, there's an option on the Zoom to share your computer audio.
Okay. Is it up top?
It should be under.
There it is. Thank you, Michelle. No, that didn't work either. Where is it?
Now you have to unmute it on the video.
I see. Did I do that already? Ashley just came in too.
If we've learned anything over these last few months, it's that we're all connected. And while you stayed home, so did we.
With our city's leaders working together, we are getting back to safely conducting activities in our vibrant, historic downtown, and we are tougher than ever.
Grab your mask. Please wash your hands and come downtown for a haircut, a pedicure, grab a drink, or have a meal.
Safely enjoy your favorite events like First Fridays.
Bring a mask to come and shop or see some outdoor entertainment at the Crosswell, all safely at a distance.
We're here downtown waiting, taking care of ourselves and our community, because with you, we recover. We are here, we are ready, and we are committed to our community.
That was awesome.
Great.
Yes. Wonderful.
I have to thank Drake, Ollie, and really Michelle. Michelle Dewey really ran with this. She had the idea, and a number of them got together. Michelle, you might want to make comment. There's more coming, is there not?
Yeah, we're going to have a couple more revisions of this. You know, we might be able to kind of introduce the social district concept in one as well. And I really want to take a minute and thank Emily. Emily wrote the script for this video. I don't know if you all know that. A few of us on this meeting got together and kind of nailed down the messaging, but Emily wrote the script and Drake managed to get a version of this out in literally like a little over a week. I mean, it was amazing. So, because we're really, you know, in conversations with the health department about events downtown, it was clear that we really had to push messaging about coming to downtown safely. And we'll probably have to continue that messaging for a while. But this also brings attention to downtown, and it was a great project. And I just want to thank everybody for their input and their work on it. Turned out really well.
Yes, way to go, Emily. That was great. I could not have written a script no matter what. And I think most of us were a little, she did a great job.
Thank you very much.
So I want to bring it back to you, Emily. You and I, and you guys, Justin sent me an email, and we're talking about logo brand development and some of the work that you've been talking to with Michelle and with us. I'll sort of leave it at that. So, Emily?
Yeah, so we've been talking about the communications plan and getting some first drafts around of that. I had a meeting with Paula at MEDC, and she was very helpful, gave me lots of resources so that I could begin drafting the communications plan, which is also part of the promotions and the 4 points. But there was a training module that I'm still sort of working through, and that's been really informational, kind of catching me up to speed at where you all are at understanding Main Street and the priorities that they have put in place. And through that training, I really noticed a lack of brand and a lack of logo. I know that we have a logo, but in doing the DARA, the Downtown Refreshment District, I think it would be in the best interest to get a logo with Haley as well that is similar, that coincides with that logo. So not exactly the same, but maybe the same color story so that people associate the downtown drinking district with the city and also with the DDA. You saw in the video that the city was well represented and the businesses were well represented, but there was still a lack of like actual acknowledgement that the DDA helped create this and was a partner on this. So anything that we can do to get more representation, more awareness for the brand and who we are would really help. So as Dusty had mentioned, Haley did the Visit Lenawee logo, and she used to work for us. She actually had my job. And she since has gone on to do a lot of contracted work herself. She helped with a lot of our web redesigns. There were several that she was a huge part of. So when we get to that point in the Main Street application and the implementation of a website, she would also be able to roll over all of the proper branding, all of the proper logo information for the website build as well. So I think that it would just be a seamless transition to stick with her if we liked her work so much, and hopefully get some more brand awareness downtown and representation of the DDA on projects.
Excellent. As you can see in front of you, this is the engage go into select level application dates. And Emily actually asked me this and I didn't answer, so here's the answer. December 4th, letter of interest due to the MEDC by 4 p.m. And then we need completed applications by February 5th. We are quite a ways in front of this now, I think, and we really need to get to the fundraising aspect of Main Street, and that is going out and get stakeholders to make some long-term commitments to our vision and Main Street itself. I think she's doing great work of bringing that to the forefront and getting it marketing ready. And I think that is, I'm very appreciative of her work as she's digging in and getting to the right people and talking to the right people about what Main Street is. I think she'll do great work for us.
Thank you. Also, once we have a logo, I can begin the social media implementation. I know that the big thing about Main Street is it's not just the written idea and the goals to do this. The part of the application is actually having it implemented by the time that it's due. So once we have a brand, I can really get going with that.
Excellent. Any
Dusty,
questions? Yes.
Can I add something to that?
Sure.
So for the next versions of the video, I know there isn't really, I mean, there is a logo, but I'm not sure that it's recognized as a downtown logo at this point. If there's something else that you would like me to ask Drake to add in at the end of the video, or maybe just Adrian DDA, let me know.
That'd be
He didn't
great.
have anything to put in there. So if there's something you want to send to me or to him, we can add that on the next versions.
Lee, you and I make note of that, and we'll make sure we have something available for that next video.
Okay, thank you, Michelle.
Great work, Emily. This is really refreshing, and I'm very pleased.
Thank you.
And so, and you also said with Michelle, start talking website, social media, and the like. A little bit on that, Emily.
Yeah, so like I said, once we have the logo and the brand, I don't mean to keep bringing everything back to that, but it really is the foundation for who we are, what our goals, our responsibilities, our mission are, and how we want to communicate that is done through the communications plan. So until we have a really solid brand and logo to build off of, it's kind of hard to implement that. I can start drafting and writing ideas down, but I think that from what we talked about in the last meeting, the goal, just as a refresher, would be to continue using the Downtown Adrian Facebook page, since there is already an audience and already a viewership there. But we would kind of, Michelle and I had talked about changing it to more of a community page so that we can put a spotlight on specific downtown businesses. If like Nutrition 365 will do a lot of events and different things for their community. And so we could then sponsor those events instead of having to encompass like a whole community, whole downtown event. So there's less restrictions there if we change it to a community page, which I believe Michelle has already done. So I can still use that Facebook page. I would change some of the branding over so that it is similar and cohesive with the rest of our logos and stuff. And then I would also create an Instagram page, as there is not one started right now. So yeah, that's the plan for that.
Excellent. Emily, thank you so much for all your work on this. Really appreciate it. And also I want to thank Visit Lenawee for lending time of Emily, even during her work hours, and it's showing a great partnership between the DDA, Visit Lenawee, and I want to thank them as well.
Thank you.
This all ties together in the economic vitality. We got to get to the first step of the big first step, the really big first step, and that is gaining broad-based community support. And how we illustrate that is not through people writing letters saying, I really like you guys. It's about people making financial commitments. And we need to get a brochure together, much like I showed you in the past that Milan had, and so did Howell, and so did a number of other cities, where they show the different levels of commitments that can be made. I've been talking to a number of people. I already have, I think, some interest in that. But we're really, as we get this brand development and everything, we'll have that brochure, I'm hoping, by next meeting so that we can start a campaign immediately. When we went up there last time and presented, one of the things we were certainly missing was broad-based community support. We had a stack of some money and contributors, but it isn't what I'm visualizing as to what we're really going to go out and get. And it'll be $100 on one end of it and maybe $5,000 on the other. But they need to be sort of multiple annual commitments so that we can budget accordingly. It is critical that we show that 1/3 of our budget, it can be ascertained by fundraising and stakeholder commitments. And once we can illustrate that, that's when we can start to ask whether the city commission, whether we can partner with them on a downtown Main Street director. It is critical we have a downtown Main Street director to do a lot of this heavy lifting. And can you imagine them interacting with Emily and some of David and all the other things that we could get done if we had totally focused on the downtown. So that is the very next big step. And I'm hoping to have that brochure or that sheet ready for us by next meeting. Plus that logo development. Now, one of the things that's tough when we're doing logo and brand development is normally we'd be walking through a strategic planning process trying to get to all our goals and objectives and the like. If you can take a look again at the strategic plan that we did and remember the story map that we did and see if there's if that's still okay as far as some of our major activities and what we're trying to get done, because we'll use that as a guide of trying to get to that brand development and probably present that all to you at the next meeting. But normally to get to a brand like this, we'd have breakout sessions and all that, but we've done a lot of that breakout session work. So if you'll just give us a little leeway, and by next meeting, we should have something to present to all of you. Does that make sense? All right. Any further questions? Yes, Jerry.
That in terms of fundraising, the success of the Adrian for the Seasons was all fundraising for downtown.
Right.
So, that more than $50,000 was raised for the DDA, if you think of it in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, just a point that you can demonstrate good success. I know not to the level that you're thinking, but that was a successful program.
No, you're absolutely right. It needs to be one of the parts of the application showing what's happened there. No, I think we're getting closer and closer to exactly what they're looking for. I'm absolutely convinced we're going to get to select level. And remember, when we get select level, and Harmony is going to be up next, she'll tell you what select level means. They really reach out and bring all their resources to us. And they really do a great job with the cities they work with. So that'd be an added help from the state level. So I really can't tell you enough how much I'm excited to get this going. Any other questions on that? Comments? Harmony, you still with us?
Yes, I am. I've been with you the whole time.
Great. I want to hand over to you to give us a little update on what we've been doing with crime prevention. It might lend itself to that safety thing that we were talking about, Jerry was mentioning. So I'll hand it over to you, Harmony.
Well, thanks, Dusty. Thanks, everyone, for having me. It's been a while. It's really good to see everyone again. We still have been working on the crime prevention through environmental design. And Dusty, I'm I enjoyed hearing about your strategic plan mentioned just now, because this project came out of the strategic plan. And yes, you said you have done a lot of breakout session work, including strategic doing and all sorts of great things. And so I'm glad to see all of these activities today on the whole agenda. It's amazing. And I'm just going to share my screen here and get
Okay,
rolling. I'll give you a
You're going to have Ashley host, give her co-host. She's not going to be able to share it.
All right, here we go.
There we go.
All right. So, and just as I became host, someone had to enter the waiting room, so I had to let him in, but it's Greg, so it's fine, right? It's always something. Here we go. So you can see my slides and not my speaker notes, I hope. So Adrian Safe Neighborhoods has been trucking along since last December. We did have an excellent kickoff to this in December at the Carriage House. Thank you, Dusty and DDA, for hosting that. Since then, we began our public engagement, and we also came up against a gap in our work due to COVID, but I'll get into that and just how we've been moving through that. So I just want to thank first, if this is going to work. My screen is frozen here. Apologize. Huh.
What it's showing is your PowerPoint inside the PowerPoint. So if you just slide them down, you probably don't need to start the slideshow.
Yeah. All right, thanks. So you can see, I just want to thank the steering committee, Dusty, the chief, and Greg at City Hall for helping us through for the past however many months. And thanks to everyone who has helped promote this. Michelle, of course, on social media, and actually your master planning consultants as well at Giffords Webster are helping promote this and participating. And I also have to thank the Michigan Applied Public Policy Research Funding at MSU. Did offer $25,000 to the MSU team to do this work, not only in Adrian, but in Albion and Howell, as well as a cohort to do this CEPTED work. And so what is this? So we have been working to affect change in Adrian's public health, safety, and welfare, basically through improving environmental design, looking at reasonable levels of policing, and increasing community engagement. And that is crime prevention through environmental design in a nutshell. We did add placemaking to this because we want to preserve Adrian's great places and create more. And also, while doing that, address crime perceptions and crime data realities through making changes to our streetscapes, yards, sidewalks, roadways, lighting, landscaping, access to our neighborhoods and downtown, and so many more ways that happen through CEPTED. And I'm going to just jump here. The project itself, in order to do that, started with the kickoff in December, of course, with public engagement, and we moved right into crime data mapping. We have a two-person team at MSU School for Planning, Design, and Construction who have been jumping right into looking at crime data for the past 4 years, looking at those trends and doing a geographic analysis of where that crime is happening and what our actual built environment looks like that might impact those crime levels and the changes we could make to reduce crime levels. We also, so that is the analysis of the built environment that the MSU team has been doing throughout every neighborhood in Adrian, including the downtown. In addition to that very cut and dried data analysis, we're just wrapping up very unique public engagement that the DDA has been supporting this whole time, and that includes an online survey. And then also the most unique part is the Photo Voice project, which we have been getting people engaged in, luckily, and that is all online, and I'll provide you the link in a bit. But both the survey and Photo Voice require just clicking a link, taking the time to do the survey, and then for Photo Voice, actually uploading 2 photos that tell your story of life in Adrian. And those would be a photo of something you are grateful for in the city and something you are not quite grateful for in the city. And of course, we are focused really on the built environment. So it wouldn't be pictures of people and things like that, but it would be pictures of places that mean a lot to you or that you think could be improved, and then telling that story. And it's all online, very easy to do. And then finally, and the piece we're getting to at the end of this month, which I think is most critical to this group here this morning, is taking a look at the policy recommendations coming out of the MSU team, making changes, future changes to the downtown and to our neighborhoods to reduce crime. And these will not be detailed design recommendations. That will be up to the city and DDA on what to focus on. But we are providing general policy recommendations on where the city could focus their efforts first to make changes based on crime data and crime prevalence. So the timeline itself, this is what it has looked like since October, November, with the MSU team coming in and training the steering committee on photo voice and talking about the project. Then in December, the big kickoff with presentations and surveys. Over the winter, we did have the survey and photo voice links ready and live to go underway, but participation was low. And definitely through March, April, May, participation was really at a standstill as everyone tried to regroup and figure out how to move forward at various personal and professional levels. And so by the time summer came around, June, July, the steering committee and MSU, we were ready to move forward again with pushing out the survey and the photo voice and flipping this whole entire process to be online. And then we are now looking at an August 22 deadline for all surveys and photo voice submissions. We did have a July 31st deadline, but the MSU team said they are analyzing the survey data and photo voice submissions all the way up to our showcase at the end of August. And so they would be happy to keep collecting people's input, and specifically you on the DDA and all of your networks and friends, family, and colleagues are invited to participate in the survey and photo voice. And so that deadline is August 22nd. Now we're looking at the week of August 24th and 28th is when our website will be the pretty much hosting a showcase for this project. It's kind of it would be something we would do in person during an evening if this was a normal year, that we would have this big end celebration to the project. But we decided to make it into a week-long online opportunity for people to come to the website, look at crime data, look at photo voice, take a look at the presentations MSU is creating about what to do next, and just generally get a sense of what the whole project means, and then cap it off with a leadership roundtable, which is scheduled. And I do ask you all to save the date and please RSVP to me to attend. The more the better as far as city leadership, on Thursday, August 27th, between 4 and 6:30 p.m. We will be having a leadership roundtable, which is specifically for you and other leaders at City Hall and around the city, as far as partners from schools, Habitat for Humanity, and the like, to come together to be presented with what this project means to the city by the steering committee members, and also MSU team will provide the policy recommendation presentation, and it will be very interactive. Although it is online, we do have lots of really great activities planned for this roundtable for you all to provide feedback on what you have heard and seen, and to actually orchestrate some next steps for the city. So that is August 24th through the 28th. That leadership roundtable is on the 27th. And then finally, this fall, the project will end. But because this is part of a project with Albie and Ann Howell as well, there's a cohort that will continue to meet and share experiences throughout the fall and winter. And that cohort of city leadership, which will be our steering committee members, will actually help MSU create a state level guidebook for SEPTED planning and provide feedback on that, which is really exciting. So you're not only making a great impact by supporting this project just at the neighborhood and personal level and downtown level, but also regionally and statewide levels. So thank you so much for your interest in that. Here's our website. I do invite you to bookmark this, and I'm going to put this right in the chat. Let's see here. Oh, thanks for the F5 advice for starting a slideshow. This is the first time I've given a presentation with 2 monitors. I think that's part of the problem too, but thanks, Michael. So there is the link in the chat to the website. As you can see, it's easy to use. Take the survey, submit your photos to Photo Voice, and learn more. And so there are just a few pages on this website. It's very small, but it's direct and to the point. So please get this out, share it. And then also we have a Facebook page that Michelle has been helping with and sharing out what we post. So find us, like us. We always have the links to the website on there. And as we get closer to that showcase and leadership roundtable, more and more will be posted on there, like videos and live showings. So again, that Photo Voice gallery I mentioned before, it's going to be online. This is what it would look like in person. In the past, we've done Photo Voice galleries where the photographer is actually there talking to city leadership about their story in the city. This will be online. It'll be in the shape of a PowerPoint, not live. But we are excited because people's perceptions of their neighborhoods and their downtown can play such a role in city policy recommendations. So with that, I ask you to do 4 things if possible. After my presentation, take our survey, share that survey, submit 2 photos with a story, and also ask your colleagues to do the same. And then save that week of August 24th to visit our website and watch presentations and videos and check out that online Photo Voice gallery. And also in red bold, of course, please participate in the Leader Roundtable on the 27th in the late afternoon. Each one ask one. If you each ask someone to participate in this would be fantastic. Again, our website link is there. Here is the RSVP, save the date for that Leadership Roundtable. And I know on behalf of the steering committee, including Dusty, we would love to have at least 1 to 2 to 3 dozen people there at that roundtable. It's not a large event. It would be more for leadership, although it is open to the public and public will be engaged in a different way from leadership, but we've got that all handled. So here's the information for that, the date, and please RSVP right to my email, which is gamazelh@msu.edu right here on that slide. So thank you for your time, and that was that brief update. I look forward to working more with you on this.
Harmony, thank you for that. It has been interesting to work with them. There's a lot of data that they're not showing yet. They'll do it at the presentation time and recommendations for change. I felt this was important to make sure that the downtown was a big part of this, because as we look at our new street lamps, our parking lots, our alleyways, and so many of those other things that can create entrapment areas or feelings of unsafe, we need to address them. We need to address the activity that's downtown. It was an interesting thing that took place when we were gathering data. There seemed to be a preponderance of activity at the police station. And that's because when anything would get called over to the police station, or they would count it as happening there. So they had to extract that data. It was just interesting how we walked down the road, and I was like, wait a minute, we don't have that much activity, do we? And then the answer was, no, we don't. But it does show you where things take, where activity and crime is taking place throughout our city. But it also shows you the perception that people have of where that crime takes place and overlays it. So I think it's very interesting for those that would like to help champion this with us, and the DDA would love to have you at the roundtable leadership event. Any questions?
No, excellent.
Harmony, could you share that link again in the chat?
To the website? You bet.
I'll make sure you do that before I take your screen away from you.
Before you take away my power. Great. In there. Thank you so much, everyone. And really, this is a one-of-a-kind, very unique project based very much in social equity. And I really appreciate how you as a group and through your strategic plan, you are balancing economic growth with social equity. And this is very commendable. So thanks for partnering. Again, we always appreciate it.
Before I
I'm sorry, Harmony, are you able to copy that link and paste it into the Zoom chat?
I did twice, so I'm not sure. Is it just not coming through?
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Maybe it's me. That's okay. Thank you.
Are you sharing it with everyone? Maybe
Yeah.
you're only sending it to one person in the 2 line.
Looks like that's what was
It's
happening.
not.
Yep, thanks.
Up there it is.
Now you got it.
Thanks,
There's
Michael
always
Orlando.
something on Zoom.
Looks like Michael Orlando's an expert in Zoom at this point.
Expert level.
Again, Harmony, thank you for all that work. That's fantastic. Any other questions for Harmony? All right, we'll move to chair comments. There's 2 things I want to take care of on this particular area. As you know, in our bylaws, we made a change at one point where we had the presidents of the 2 college and university to sit at the table of the DDA. From there, we moved and changed that it wouldn't be the president, but it would be a representative, a non-voting representative from each university that could sit at the table with the DDA and help with policy and help with activities and committee work and the whole bit. Adrian College has contacted me and they would like to appoint or recommend Mike Neal, who's the instructor of communication arts and sciences. I told them that I would present this today. It is their representative. If you remember, Michael was presented to us by Sister Peg, and we accepted. So we don't really walk them through the same process through interviewing. We trust the university would bring their best and brightest to the table and help out. And so if there is no objections, I will have him be at the September meeting. As you know, Michael is the one that does the film festival. He's also worked on the rink. He has a lot of energy, and I think he's a great addition to the team.
I think that's certainly Adrian College's prerogative, and we would welcome his delegate to our association, just as we do Michael. With a blessing, certainly.
You say it so much better than I do, Margaret. I need more coffee.
About that. You're newly married. I think you're just wrapped up.
I'm all wrapped up in that, yeah.
It's all right. We get it.
Awesome. And then right here is where I want to really take a moment and thank Chip Moore. I don't know how many years you've been on the DDA, Chip, but I can't remember when you were not on the DDA. So let's just put it that way. I can't thank you for all the work you've done. And so if you just want to say a few words, it would be appreciative about where you're at right now.
No, yeah, thank you. I believe that Sam Rye appointed me to the DDA, and it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure seeing the downtown development grow. It's a lot stronger today with all the investment than when I was on the board. So it's fun to see all the new energy, the new leadership. And with COVID right now, and with the new insurance laws taking effect in July 2nd, I got a double whammy. So I know everybody's dealing with COVID, and with my time, I just feel the DDA is in great shape. It's really good, and I'm just leaving at the right time for me. And I'm looking forward to seeing the growth in the city of Adrian.
Well, I want to tell you too, I think you have been brought an incredible level of dedication. Everything you do, you jump in with both feet. You have a mind that never quits asking the questions that always need to be asked. Sometimes I would think to myself, why is he bugging us with that? But you just don't ever quit. So I know if I ever have an issue, I'm still taking it to you, Chip Moore, because I know you will dig to the bottom till you get the right answer. And quite frankly, I'm going to miss that because you have brought me to a great appreciation for that. So I'm sorry you're leaving, and you take my appreciation for all you have done for our city with you. Thank you, Chip, for everything you have done. Not only have you been a great friend, you have been a real, true asset and advocate for our community. So thank you so very much. You will be missed.
Here, here.
Here.
Awesome. See, in person, we'd all clap right now. That's what we're supposed to do. The Zoom meeting takes it away.
Yeah.
So thank you, Chip, so much. I appreciate that, and appreciate you. With that said, that also does then open up a seat on the DDA. So at which point I will ask Michelle to go ahead and post that starting tomorrow or the next day to accept applications. As you know, in the last time that we did interviews, and Emily was our last addition, there was another person by the name of Deborah Loveland who had interviewed. She did pretty good. But we always want to follow process here, so let's open it up for 20 days. Get some more applications if there are any out there. And then the committee, the organization committee with me and Diane and the mayor and Dave will interview and give our recommendation to the DDA next meeting. All right?
Okay.
Excellent. And my final comments is, you guys, I think some real energy is starting to grow here in this DDA. I think there's some fantastic things happening in the downtown, and some great progress is going to be being made. So I'm very, very excited on all of us and energized. So from here, I'll move to public comment.
Hey, Dusty, Jim Van Dorn, if I may, I just want to give a brief update on the Restart program. I think it's very important to the Downtown Development Authority. But before I do, I just want to echo Chip and Margaret's comments. You know, we look at the DDA and how far you guys have come in the last few years, and what you're doing is really being significant to the economic development of the county, because Adrian City is pivotal to the whole county. So just a great job. Keep it up. And I think the DDA is finally doing exactly what the DDA was meant to do. So with that being said, let me tell you that we had 259 applications for the Restart program in the county. We have $800,000 in grants to give away. 1.2 million of those came from Adrian. And another 1.2 million of those are minorities, women, and veterans. So the first committee is meeting today, going over the minorities, women, and veteran applications, which have to be 30% of our giveaway, some $240,000. So we'll just keep you posted, but I think it's very important. We've had a lot of nice applications from your businesses down there, and we'll be reviewing those, and hopefully this program will help some of those businesses to stay vital to the Adrian and to the Lenawee County economic development process.
So if you want more information on that, be free to call Jim or Tim. And Jim's staying on that and jumping on that, and you know, doing such a great job helping. We really have some downtown businesses that suffered, and I really appreciate the work you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Any questions for Jim on that? All right. Any other public comments?
Congratulations to Dusty and Lisa. I'm so happy for both of you.
Oh, thank you. All right, if there are no public comments, move to other DDA business matters. Is there any new business? Anything that anybody wants to bring up? All right, board member comments.
Mr. Chair, Mark.
Yes.
First of all, just thank you. Thank you, Dusty, for all you're doing. You're just really keeping us moving along, keeping us all working hard. I appreciate that. Chip Moore, thank you for everything you do. Don't forget to mention that you're the founder and the developer of our bike event here this fall, which is still going on, and we're looking for you to stay on our committee for the downtown parking, etc. Michelle Dewey, thank you for everything that you've done to make those first Fridays a real success. You've been a real trooper. Last Friday was fantastic. Thanks for your effort there. Emily Drake and the rest of the team coming up with our creative stuff. We are really rocking and rolling. It feels really good to have young talent moving us ahead as a community, and I'm really excited about that. When that brochure gets done, Dusty, it'd be nice if we had a real simple slideshow that those of us presenting to others could do off of our phone or laptops, as well as a brochure. See if we can get that in. Did I say, David, thanks for all your work on the downtown drinking thing? Really love that. Just one quick question. If everyone would look around their properties, the Armory's taking care of all the weeds that are growing up on the city streets on Maumee from Broad down to Comstock Park. The city's doing a wonderful job on the downtown weed removal, yet there are places around in front of private businesses where we are being negligent. And for all the work that the downtown's doing to have beautiful flowers, it's important that we look around and get those little things done. Pick up the cups, get rid of the weeds, do everything we can to be proud owners of properties in the downtown area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Any other board member comments?
Mr. Chair, I got a couple. I want to say congrats to you as well. And also I want to say thanks to Chip for your time, and I appreciate everything and all your leadership. I also want to say special thanks to Brett Cotton and Brana Kali. Brett really started this research about 3 or 4 years ago, and he's the one that's worked with Brana and legislature to really get this going. So I just want to make sure that I say publicly that, you know, special thanks to Brett and to Brana for helping with creating our social district.
Superb. Any other board comments? All right, before I adjourn, just remember, I'm going to adjourn this meeting. We're going to go right back into our annual meeting. It will not take long. So if there are no further comments from the board, I'm going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting. I don't know if we need a motion for that. I've always found that a little funny, but I can do that.
I'll make a motion if you need it.
I don't think we need a motion to adjourn.
All right, thanks, Meredith. Somebody, but a number of other boards, they do it. It always makes me laugh. It's sort of like when somebody leaves and they vote him not, you know, it's okay that you can leave. Always never understood that one either. So, all right, we're adjourned. We're going to open it up and call the meeting to order to the 2020 annual meeting. And we already have roll call. And the agenda is, the action steps will be the slate of officers. The financial report we really did in our last meeting, if you have any other questions. And then I'll just review some of the things we did and we can close it up. So is there anything you'd like to add to this agenda? Anyone? Take a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Support came from who? Chip? Or no?
Dave, support.
Dave, sorry. Dave. All right. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the same. All right, Diane, I'll just have you read that off, the slate of officers.
Okay, so we're presenting today the slate of officers. Chairperson Dusty Steele, Vice Chairperson Dave Thomas, Treasurer Brad Maggard, and Recording Secretary Meredith Elliott. And so we'll entertain a motion to accept that slate of officers.
So moved.
There's been a motion.
Or
There's support by Margaret. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
aye.
All those
Aye.
opposed, the same. All right, thank you. And I really appreciate it and humbled to be your chairperson. I look at it as a, you know, I'm honored and thank you for letting me move forward with that. And David, thank you for taking on such responsibility, and I appreciate you agreeing to be vice chair. And Brad, you couldn't get away from us, so you get to do treasurer again for another year. You keep trying, but you're not getting away. As far as the financial report, you saw our previous budget. We know where we stand. We've had a few activities there, so I don't know if we need to do anything, but we do have, for point of order, we do need to make a motion to accept the financial report, the annual report, the budget. So can I get a motion for that?
So moved.
Make a motion.
Is there support?
Support.
Any further discussion?
Support, Dave.
Was it Dave? Mark supported.
I had marked down as making the motion. I'm sorry. So tell me who's who here?
Just flip flop them, Dave, then Mark.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the same. The other thing is there were minutes in there too, and I don't have this on here. There were minutes from last year's annual meeting. I had them inside your email. I need a motion to accept those minutes from last year's annual meeting.
What was the date on that, Dusty?
Oh boy, let me see here.
June 12th.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
June 12th, 2019.
All right.
So moved.
Has there been a motion to accept the minutes?
I will move that we accept the minutes from June 12th, 19.
All right, there's been a motion. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Margaret. Any further discussion? All those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the same.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. All right, the minutes are in the record. You know, Margaret, when you run the Siena Heights meetings, we always get those late no's too. I got to be more patient, or yeses, I mean.
All right, I know. They come from the sky.
They do. All right, just real quick, you know, we worked on strategic planning when we first jumped on this. We really finished it up right after the year passed last year. The story map is available. I think Emily's going to grab that, mix it all up, and we'll have some great work coming forward. Remember, we extended the TIF at the last second back in February, March, something like that. We got that done. And remember, I put the word extension on there on purpose because we have not finished the real TIF document. So I'll be working with Greg and talking to him about that because we need to get to work on that soon because we don't want to wait for 4 years and 9 months and then say, oh, we got to get that done. So you'll hear me put that and keep that up and be pushing that towards the agenda going forward. The parking study was finished. The parking signage has been implemented. The city did a great job putting the parking signage throughout the downtown and really giving wayfinding signs towards that parking. I think there'll be continued work going forward on wayfinding signs, and I think we'll move forward there. SEPTED has been worked with throughout the whole year. It's been great work, as you can see from Harmony, and I think you guys will see the fruits of that labor at the end of August. We're going to continue our efforts to get to the select level, and I really appreciate everybody's involvement, and we will continue to work towards that goal. Are there other DDA business matters at this time? Are there any other board comments?
Been a pleasure.
Chip, thank you again so much. Really, really appreciate it. When you said Sam, I just can't believe it. You've been on it forever.
Well.
I just can't believe it. So, all right. That brings us to the end of our annual meeting, and great work today. Wonderful meeting, and we'll continue our energy, and we'll see you in September.
See you in
Or lose you to a summer love.
Yeah, congratulations again, Harry.
Harry, you can call me Harry. That's what Lisa calls me.
Well, yeah.
Oh, we're not Lisa. Big guy.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.